All day, baby. You know that.
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground.
Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
Get some nothing!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you're here?
Let the games begin.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die!
Money is nice, championships are better.
Here we go. Y'all got me now, don't you? You got me now, don't you? All right. So I got to start over because I was talking for 6 minutes and one person said something. It's 19 on y'all. Y'all just watching me just talk. Y'all probably like, look at this bull talk like an idiot. Woo. All right. So I got to start again. Welcome to the show. I'm coming to you not as Moss Money, CEO of Money Pop Podcast. I'm coming to you as a fan. We're going to talk about why the Philadelphia Eagles got embarrassed. And to reiterate what I just said, and I'll just say it right off the jump because that's where I got to me, this is going to be Carson Wentz 2.0. I know Carson didn't play in the Super Bowl. I know Carson got ran out of here. Do I think Jalen's going to get run out of here? He show up like again next year, like he did this year, you're going to start to hear it. Now, he's got some money on his contract, and that's a different story. But on the same note and the same token, think about it. We need a new OC again. We might need a new number one receiver again. We might need a new tight end again. We might need some new offensive linemen again. This team is going to implode offensively. Implode offensively, which is wild when you think about it. The dynasty didn't even start. It ended before it even started. So what this team is going to look like next year is not one of the best teams in the NFC. I'll tell you that right now. They got a lot of work to do. Now, we got a segment coming up called Dead or Alive. Now, obviously, this is for fun, recreational things. This is not really wishing death or dead to any of these people coming up. But still in all, what we're going to see coming up here is going to be a complete shift in the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you telling me I was on mute because I was going in. Talking to myself. Y'all just see this. I was going in. So, just me today. My guy got hung up. We do got a member in the background, one of our members. So I'll bring him on so I can at least throw some darts at somebody, right? Instead of talking to myself, right? We'll bring him on. If you guys want to be subscribers, go ahead and go to the YouTube, hit the link, join. It's pretty dope, pretty cool. Got some cool stuff for you guys to join and be members, like coming on the show, talking live with us, which I think is a really cool feature because a lot of people don't have the platforms to kind of just talk, and it's good to get out there, get some feedback, talk to fans, stuff like that. So one of our members coming on the show, he is an active duty member of the military, so that's always love for those guys coming on. Got some family, too, as well. We'll bring him on. Mr. Marcus, what's going on? Cuzzo.
Cuz, what's good, man?
And you even got the colors, and you wearing – I didn't even get out of my work stuff. That's how I was feeling today. You're a true fan.
I've been off work since 3.
I purposely looked at every jacket today. I said, nope, not doing it. Nope. And put some bullshit on because I was not showing the colors today. Some people are out there with their colors. I'm not at all because I got these boys at the red dot. Got him ready. Got him lined up with the red dot, ready to take them all out. Let's talk about the game because let me know from your perspective, what did you see in the game and what was your thoughts on the game?
Fool's gold, if I could just put a term to it. Because at the beginning, we saw the Dallas Goddard jet sweep where we're like, okay, they've been holding something to where they gonna get in a bag, and then it was just all downhill from there. Vic can only do so much. I got my little frustrations with Vic on that game as well. I think one tad bit adjustment he should have made would have been a game changer, but the defense kind of held their end of the bargain to a certain extent.
I agree.
It's just we as fans, we're so passionate about our team that we see the potential and the capability we have, and it's just like, well, at least
Potential? You think this is potential? Bro, they got
There-
all stars everywhere. And then we're not talking about all stars. We're talking about generational talent across
when
the board.
when I say potential, I'm talking about in play calling. Like KP and Nick finally was able to somewhat show flashes, but they just weren't able to piece it all together.
Mm.
And it was like, it's there. I know these guys they're staring at it. They got it. They just, come on, y'all got it. But nope. Now we're gonna be back in the cycle. Howie and Mr. Larry is gonna threaten Nick. We're picking the OC this time, and then they're probably gonna go get some guy for a temporary rental. Because then we're gonna repeat
So
playoffs.
you talked about that in terms of like kind of off season type stuff. And we'll get into that later on the show. But talk about real quick on what you think from an off season, how this off season is a little bit different because typically being this late in the cycle, you kind of get, just slim pickings. But there seems like there'll be some names out there that people are throwing around. Obviously Mike McDaniel being one. I even heard about Harbaugh coming in and unseating Nick. I heard about what's his boy name from the Giants?
Dabble, Brian
Dabo,
Dabble.
because he has some connections with
He coached
Jalen.
Jalen at
He coached,
Alabama.
he coached Jalen at Alabama. So what do you think is out there from OC standpoint, being this late in the process and late in the cycle?
So if you look at all the total names right now out there, Mike McDaniels makes the most sense. He was a head coach, got fired. Brian Dabble makes sense. He was a head coach, got fired. So those guys are probably open to any job opportunity. But then if you look at the offensive minded coaches available, Cliff Kingsbury mutually parted ways with the Commanders. So is that
Yep.
a change of scenery, or does he want to take a head coach position? Then you got Clint Kubiak, basically a son of another NFL head coach. And if
Right.
he's following the trend of what Brian Schottenheimer is doing with Dallas and he's showing flashes, does he go be a head coach somewhere elsewhere? Then you got, guys I feel like would be like you throw to John Harbaugh. That would be a full circle moment for Philly. He was a special teams coordinator during the Andy Reid era. And then, eventually he's part of that Andy Reid, coach tree. Now he comes back full circle to Philly to dethrone Nick Sirianni as a head coach. And then we still run into that same issue. Who's going to be the play caller? Who's going to be the offensive coordinator? So Nick is not going to get fired unless, for some odd reason, Jeffrey Lurie sees the painting and the endless cycle we're going to go through and decides, after the end of season meeting, like, hey, next season you're going to be the play caller. If not, kind of give him like that ultimatum they gave Doug Peterson when it came to, hey, you got to get rid of Press Taylor or we're going to go look somewhere else. For Nick, it's going to be, you're going to be a play caller or we have to look somewhere else, because Jalen is constantly going to keep going through new voices as long as, like I said, that OC position is going to be a revolving door, unless Nick takes that next step and be the official play caller so we can have that consistency.
But it's the same offense. It's just somebody has a different flavor of it. It's the same. It's like it's still Nick and Jalen's offense, and it's been like that since Sirianni's been here. But it's just different concepts and different, ideologies from different OCs that kind of come in. But they all try to marry it to what Jalen does well. Like people talk about the Steichens, people talk about the Kellen Moores. Like we need that again. That's because we had success and we went to the Super Bowl. But to me, Sean Steichen was he came up with Sirianni. Sirianni hired him. So they both worked together to get the offense right, and they got hot, right? I think we won the Super Bowl as a wild card that year, if I'm not mistaken. So they got hot late with a strong defense, right? And then Kellen Moore's year, right? We had the greatest running back season of all time happen. Jalen didn't even throw for 3,000 yards. So Jalen didn't do much or didn't need to do much and only was called upon when he was called upon and he was able to deliver. And then when you think about, um, that season as well, I mean, you could argue that, Saquon was MVP. You could argue all this stuff, right? Offensive line was dominating. They switched to a run first, right? Type of philosophy during the game because passing wasn't working. And I think Kellen Moore figured out that passing the ball is not a Jalen Hurts strength, right? Or at least passing it that much. Can he make elite throws? Can he make all the throws? Yes. But him throwing more than 30, 35 times in a game is not a winning success, right? So I think we need to be careful that thinking that an OC means a new offense. It's not going to be a new offense. It'll be another flavor of the offense, possibly based on their ideologies, because Kellen did a lot of motion, right? We don't do a lot of motion, right? But Kellen did, right? But it's all still the same offense, so I don't. We know that Nick is a CEO coach, and everybody wants this superstar OC. Shane Steichen wasn't a superstar OC, at the beginning. I think they need somebody who can be creative. I think they need somebody who can work to Jalen's strengths. But then again, Jalen don't want to run the ball. You know what I mean? And you can tell the way he runs now. He gets down really quick. He doesn't fight for an extra yard. That damn hoop done got to him. That hoop and that money. I'm tired of this shit. You know what I mean? So I think this is why I said I think it's almost Carson Wentz 2.0. I think they're in a really sticky spot. I really do. I really think they're in a really sticky spot. And I know people are screaming for AJ, and we'll get to our dead or alive segment. But you get rid of AJ Brown, I'm telling you right now, Jalen Hurts will not win a Super Bowl again. And I'm just saying it right now. The only reason why we went to the Super Bowl as many times we went to is because of AJ Brown. People that look at the numbers, look at the reason.
The first year he came to Philly,
1,500 yards. Second year, 1,500 yards. Third year, got hurt, 1,000 yards, and now this year. So, Kevin PRF, it's pronounced Dabo, right? Dabo.
Brian Dabo, yeah.
Yeah, Dabo. Yeah. I can pronounce.
I mean, you Philly, it sounded like you said that bull.
I did. I definitely did, for sure. Without a doubt. That Philly came out of me, that bull. You know what I mean? Dable. No, I got it. You just you know what I mean? You ain't have to make it like I needed, like you was in the dictionary though, bro. Damn, give me something.
But
all right, let's go into the. Go ahead,
I was
bro.
about to say with Steichen and Moore, I would say the common factor that them two coaches had compared to Patullo and Johnson is they came to our organization as play caller experience.
Right.
So they know how to add their flavor. They know how to adjust based off the skill set they have available. I think when you have guys in brand new positions like Johnson and Patullo, they're trying to learn how to do their job as a play caller with on-the-job training. On top of it, they're trying to handle the, I guess, personality that Nick brings on top of that, being,
his ego is crazy.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
With Steichen having that relationship already before coming to Philly, I think he kind of knew how to handle that, to where people forget Nick Sirianni was the play caller that first year when we went 9-7 before he gave it to Shane Steichen, and then Steichen kind of had that offense kind of juicing a little bit, and that was with Jalen Reagor and that roster that we had at that time.
And funny thing is, I think that I don't think fans forget that he was a play caller. I think they remember it because it's a reason why he's not. a play caller, right? You know, there's a reason why he decided to be a head coach and not a play caller and just give it to somebody who had a better feel. Because he couldn't do it all. He couldn't be him. He couldn't be the play caller and be the head coach that he needs to be and be the leader of men that I do think that he is. Because between him and Jalen, they're 59 and 26, right? Broken all kinds of records and things like that of how fast they won and going up the charts. So we know that the Nick and Jalen marriage work. Now we got to get all the bridesmaids, you know what I mean, all the groomsmen on the side to make it all work. Pause. You know what I mean? Pause. But let's start. I typically start with the quarterback, right? That's just how I look at football. I started the quarterback. Some people like to start above that, so we'll start there. All right. Let me see where we at. If you hear this, that means he's dead. All right. If you hear this, that means he's living for now. All right. I told him I had him the red dot got him. My Wheezy voice, which was terrible. All right, here we go. Y'all tell me too, dead or alive. We'll start it off. Kind of already hinted at this. Nick Sirianni.
Unfortunately, he's alive. Two Super Bowl appearances within 3 years is as much as a fan base we would want to, but logically, this man has shown like with the right people in his circle, he can get it. He can at least get us there to get that opportunity. You know, minus the BS PI they want to call. You know, I'm still not going to put that on the ref because I would have rather had that same outcome as that Ole Miss game. Just let them, play it out. But 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1-1 in the Super Bowl, it's not bad.
Against Mahomes too.
He's alive. He's alive.
Yeah. Kevin said this conversation is not used to Eagles fans describing Hurts as limited. I've been debating Eagles fans all summer, so he is an elite top 5. So he's an enigma, right? He really is. He's an enigma because I've never been a Jalen Hurts fan. That's been documented. People like to get at me all the time on this, and I have put the Jalen hat on and taken it off when he pisses me off, just like right now, right? But I will respect and give credit when credit's due with Jalen Hurts. He is top 5 in the last 4 years by default. He's got a ring. He's got a Super Bowl MVP. He's got more playoff wins in his tenure as a starter than almost every active quarterback outside of Aaron Rodgers, who's been in the league for 25 years, outside of, I think, Josh Allen has maybe 1 or 2 more playoff wins than him, and then it's Hurts. No, I'm sorry, Mahomes.
Patrick
Mahomes is there as well, right? Those 3, 2 of them are Hall of Famers, right? You know what I mean? So when you put him in that class, take Aaron Rodgers out because obviously he's way past his prime. Mahomes is elite and Josh Allen's an elite, right? And Josh Allen don't got a ring yet. So how can you argue Josh Allen over him? I personally do. I've seen Josh Allen live, and I never seen anything like that. Like that boy is a tank. He is a Terminator. He's literally a Terminator. He is ridiculous. Even though they lost that game and Jalen showed up, which Jalen does. Because the one thing about Jalen Hurts, we didn't see it this year at all, for whatever reason, Jalen over his career, whether you go to high school, or you go to college, and you go to the pros, he has been clutch. So I will give Jalen his flowers. But to the point of this post, he is limited in certain things that he can do. Right? And his limitation comes from one of the most important things of playing quarterback. Can he make elite throws? Yes. Can he make all the throws? Probably yes. But do you want Jalen Hurts to throw the ball 35 times? You do not. You do not want him to throw the ball 35 times. Do you want Jalen Hurts to use his legs? You absolutely do. For him to be the elite player that he can be, you need those to factor. He needs to throw the ball no more than 30 times, 25 to 30 times. He needs to run the ball anywhere from 7 to 10 times. He actually has to play like Josh Allen. The way Josh Allen plays, I think he has to play. That's me. That's what I think. But we'll get to Jalen in a little bit. But to our member on here point, I agree. He'll live for now. He'll live for now. I think Nick's got one more year. I really do. I think Nick's got one more year. And I think it's because of his ego, right? So much success, so fast. Nobody expected it to come for him, and it did. Coming from who was our OC, the old head, coach of the Colts for
Peterson?
a little bit. Who was it?
You talking about Doug Peterson?
No. The coach of
No.
Rich. Like Richie.
Rich. Frank Rich.
Yeah, Frank Richie,
Frank
right?
Wright. Frank Wright.
Yeah, Frank Wright. You're right. Yeah. So he comes from that tree, and nobody expected him. And remember during that cycle when we hired head coaching, it was like, who was left, and he was part of the left, and he got hired because of that tree and that connection with Philly. And he went to Rowan. I don't know. He's from Jersey. He's not from Jersey though, right? Is he from Jersey?
I think he's from Jersey. Didn't he play college?
I think he does look like a Jersey boy. You think about it. He do look like a cat from Jersey. So, and then those ties there. So when you think about that, and somebody that small gets that type of success, it goes to your head really fast, right? So when you see that, I think he's got one more year. One more year. I think he's got one more year. All right. Let's go right to we already know. Yeah, cat's out the bag, bro. Cat's out the bag.
This picture alone looks like he's just in the wrong room.
We welcome it. We welcome it. We deserve every bit of it. Niner fan. We deserve every bit of it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Y'all gonna get trashed though. But keep it coming.
Yeah, KP gone.
So, do you? And I ask people out there after this whole year, because I don't think this is true, but do you blame all the offensive problems on Kevin Patullo?
Nope.
What would you say is your percentage of Kevin Patullo being? If we want to blame, this is the blame game. Dead or alive, everybody knows he's gone. It ain't gonna be nothing new. We already know. You know what? Let's not even mess around. Let's not even mess around because we're looking at the wrong picture, right? We're looking at the wrong picture. He's done. Right. Let's look at that one because that one makes more sense. Right, that one makes more sense. What percentage would you say this is his fault?
35.
Ooh. That's low. That's super low.
So
that's like
you gotta remember there's multiple factors. Everybody thinks the sole decision as an offensive coordinator is he's the final say so, especially if you're having a CEO style coach. Patullo's basically just going through and running what he can do within the parameters that has been set before him by Nick Sirianni. And then if the rumors are true that, Mr. Larry wants the offense to kind of be more a passing style because that's the new sexy. Now you're having ownership input. Your parameters, given what they are, can limit you on what your capabilities may be. And depending on the...
And to your, not to cut you off, but to your point, this offense has always been built to throw the ball. You don't draft
Yep. Devontae and AJ.
Devontae. You don't bring AJ in. You don't have Dallas Goedert. You don't have that offensive line that you have, and you don't bring in Saquon Barkley. They did it last year, but you throw the ball. They want to air it out.
And the crazy part, I feel this line is built more for the run game. Just because if you look at
Oh yeah, they're big bodies.
Miles, Swift, and then Saquon with those big, if Becton stayed, those were all maulers. And Jalen kept a low passing style, passing numbers. He wasn't throwing those sexy numbers everybody's looking for. But Patullo is going to take the blame for it because he's
he's the fall guy.
The associated face for play calling, but I would definitely give him 35% just because.
So what do you have Nick as?
Oh, Nick is probably taking. I'll give Nick probably 60%.
Ooh, damn, 60? We only got 5% left.
That goes to Mr. Larry.
Wow, you gave Nick 60% of the failure on offense.
Because
that is surprising.
If you're CEO, your whole concept that you took over is to manage and set your players up for success. And, you want to focus on everything. But as well, you got to realize you have Vic Fangio as your defensive coordinator. So I don't really have to go on that side of the hallway as much because I have a seasoned, proven guy that can focus at that management. So let me go ahead and have this. That's like having if you got your replacement coming in, right? Because you got a promotion. You don't want to just give him, hey, here's the break room, here's the coffee room. All right, bet, dip. And now, like 3 months later, your boss come back like, hey, what's going on with this department? It's random shit. You're going to make sure he understands how everything is supposed to be running. So that way you don't have to keep coming back, to come fix something he done messed up or he's trying to change something. You make sure there's a proper changeover. And I feel Nick is not giving that proper, you got a brand new offensive coordinator, brand new play caller. So, hey, let me spend some more time so that way I can make sure he's comfortable, see what things I can take off of his, burden to make sure he gets into a decent groove. And then let me slowly start adding some more stuff on your plate when I feel you get comfortable. Instead of, here's the keys to the Bugatti. This is the plays we're going to run. If you got any questions, let me know. But I'm going to be over here, just doing whatever I do in my office.
Though. It wasn't like Patullo wasn't on the staff.
As a QB coach.
Still.
And only that, you're focusing on the fundamentals and mechanics and going through films with the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
you're not going over the
offense.
entire to an extent, but now you're trying to figure out what plays to call in certain, schemes. What's my 15 to 20, play script going to be? What do the plays I want to call when it comes to first and long, first and short? What we going to do in 2-minute drill?
If you take that stance and you tell me that it's Nick Sirianni's fault for hiring Kevin Patullo because he wasn't ready to be OC, I can get on board with that.
He's 0-2.
I can see that. Who's 0-2?
Nick.
Oh, you mean in picking OCs?
Yep.
No, he picked Shane. He brought Shane with him from Ernie.
Steichen don't call from I don't even put Steichen in the Nick Sirianni tree. Steichen is from he's from the Frank Reich tree.
I can see that, but he was 2 years here under Nick.
And Steichen was already a play caller in San Diego with the Chargers before going to Indy. So this man had multiple experiences playing calls with two different teams.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can see that. I can see that. But I'm definitely I'm not with you when you were going to before. But if you tell me the reason, if you tell me that Patullo wasn't ready to be OC and that's Nick's fault, I'm with you on that one. I'm 100% on that one. I get you on that one. So all right, wow. So we'll say the best. We'll say the best for last. We'll say the best for last because I think it's a funny one. You don't got no blame for this dude, because I got plenty of blame for this guy. I do. I got
I
plenty of
I
blame for this guy
I got blame.
because
He go ahead.
no, go ahead.
We go through the regular season when him and AJ want to go ahead and change up plays. The one time where as a fan base is like, you should have been doing that, especially when you know the game is on the line, coming down with these last play call sequences. And the fact, like, bro, you know your legs is the weapon, and you if
Didn't run
this
at
is
all.
just yeah, if you know that is a skill set and you're handicapping your team because I want to preserve my health. In the playoffs is one and done, you're supposed to leave it out on the line. Like you're the face of the franchise. You're what everybody's gonna see. You have a part to play as far as this downfall. I've seen improvement as far as Jalen. He's threaded needle a couple of times, but then you got to get better as far as taking that risk and speaking up as well. Like I was telling my boss today, why does it seem like every time Jalen talks, the only emotion you get is he's just trying to get you in a bed? Pause. But it's like there's no happy, there's no. It's like he's always Rico Suave, and I'm like, bro, show some emotion. Like in that press conference he had, he's like, I'm open to some change. Change this home. We have to find home. When I'm like, speak plain English, bro. We don't have identity that affected us, and bam, bam, bam. Like you're not Socrates trying to come up with some weird philosophy or anything. Just we get it. You're a Jordan Brand athlete. You can still stand within that parameters, but bro, we need you to take the next step in your career and be now the face of the franchise, because he's about to let one of these young cats come in and dethrone him as a potential face of the league.
Well, I think that he was a face of the league for a hot second, and now that's going to be going kind of to your point, with some of the younger faces. There's some old guards still in there left in the playoffs, but that boy over in New England, don't let them get don't let them get to the Super Bowl and do something special, because if so, in New England, winning it in his second year, possibly the MVP as well. Come on, man. They're going to forget about Jalen real quick. And they're going to put old blue eyes up there real quick. Believe that. So 20% I think is a little bit low. I'm a little bit higher. I'm actually more like 35% Jalen. And the reason why I say that is because we look at him, again, I said before, he's an enigma about how he goes about his business and how you kind of look at him. Because for 4 games straight, he didn't throw for 200 yards. For 2 games this year, he didn't even have a completion, I think, in the second half. And they still won. So this is where that conversation is. Winning is not a QB stat, it's a team stat. But for Jalen, it's definitely a stat, right? Because the question's always been, what is Jalen Hurts if he doesn't win? Like, what is it? Like, where do you place him? If you take away the winning stat, if you take away that stat of him winning, what is he? And this is where he is. This is what he is. You know what I mean? He is a above average quarterback that, to your point, has an identity crisis going on right now. He wants to beat you from the pocket in his mind, and he can make needle-like throws. He can make big-time throws, but he's just not consistent enough. And he doesn't know when to turn it on and use his legs, because he wants to win you from – it's almost like Donovan was like that too a little bit. Remember when Donovan stopped running a little bit too? But
Yeah.
I think it's hard to say because Donovan never had this much talent. So I don't know what Donovan would have been with this much talent. But Donovan also threw for 4,000 yards when he did get talent, right? T.O.
I mean, even when Vic came to Philly, he somewhat became a pocket passer, but he still got busy when he needed to.
He did. He did. So I do think that Jalen's obviously alive, right? We're not gonna mess around. But I think it's for now. I do. I really do. I honestly I think it's for now. Do I think they draft a quarterback high? No, I don't. Does Tanner McKee ever unseat Jalen Hurts outside of injury? Knock on wood. I don't know. I don't think any of that is going to happen. But if Jalen has another year next year like he did this year, oh, we're gonna have problems here in Philly again and quarterback controversy again. And that's why I say Carson Wentz 2.0. Because what Eagles Nation and Eagles fans are claiming and banging the desk for right now is we know pretty much Dallas Goedert is gone pretty much at this point. He's not coming back. But what they're banging for is for A.J. Brown. See ya. Take your bags. Adios. Not only did you drop multiple big-time throws when you always want the ball, you rolled out on the press. And didn't stand there because you were too emotional at that point. And I get it. He knows how to handle himself emotionally. So that's where he needed to be in his space, where his headspace, because he probably would have said some shit that probably would have got him probably fined or got him in trouble even worse than he might be. But to that point, for now, I think Jalen Hurts is safe. Again, you can't argue the numbers and the statistics that he's not a top 5 by default quarterback at this moment right now because of his past dealings. But I'm telling you, man, I think this ship is sinking. It's like that Titanic, slow. And it's going to be a lot of people going to get hurt on the way down. A lot of people ain't going to be able to make it. There's only so many boats where people can go. And for now, I think Jalen Hurts is live for now. For now. All right, let's go to the one that everybody wanted to talk about. I'm an AJ fan. I tweeted and yelled to the high heavens, AJ was right when the whole thing was going on. You couldn't run the ball, and your offensive line was hurt. And you decide to force run the ball instead of using the weapon that you have in A.J. Brown, who is arguably a top 3 receiver when you get him going. Now you have turmoil. I know Jalen came in his presser and said that they spoke and they're cool. Whatever that means, who knows? Could be just cap. We don't know. I doubt it that they're cool right now. It was good just a week ago, as the saying says, but it ain't so good so more. I said this earlier in the show before I was muted for like 5 minutes. The Eagles do not win another Super Bowl without A.J. Brown in this roster. I'm telling you right now. They will not win another Super Bowl without A.J. Brown in this roster. Jalen Hurts will not win another Super Bowl without A.J. Brown in this roster. A.J. Brown has a C on his chest for a reason that was picked among his teammates. I think everybody in that office knows how much A.J. Brown wants to win. And then, yes, A.J. Brown wants to be about his stats. A.J. Brown effed up once he started talking to the press. I get it. That's maybe how he deals with it. Somebody asked him a question. He called a spade and gave what's on his mind. Some players wear their emotions on their sleeve, and I think A.J. is one of them. So it's Nick Sirianni's job to understand how to handle that. Being a leader of men, you need to know how to handle certain players who respond in certain ways, right? Obviously, big man came from downstairs. Jeffrey Lurie came down and said, yo, AJ, you need to cut the shit out. You know what I mean? You need to stop talking to press. It's bad for internal. That happened. He shut up. They got him the ball. Things started going back to where he was okay, even though they were losing at the time, but he was okay. Now, when we needed you most, bro, you didn't deliver. They got you the ball. Whether it was PI or not, it hit you in the hands. you're an elite receiver. Catch the goddamn ball. So to me, you had a bad game at the biggest moment, and everybody was watching. And everybody remembers when you were talking before, give me the ball. I get it. I think Tom Brady said it on his monologue where he said sometimes receivers just need the ball in their hands to get used to catching the ball. He only had one. He didn't have a catch between what, quarter 2 and 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then you walk away from the press. Honestly, he's on some bitch shit. It's a bitch move. You know what I mean? Again, I get it. You're emotional. You don't want to say nothing. I get it. But I think it was some bitch stuff. You're a captain. You can't run away from it. It comes with the territory, right? And you know you're going to get the questions. What happened on that drop there? You said you wanted the ball. The media is going to egg you on to say something because that's what they do. Still in all, you can't run away and tuck your tail in and go away. Maybe step away for a little bit. Maybe come back, see if anybody's there. But I do think that was some bitch shit. And to me, and I'll let you go here because I know I was talking for a minute. To me, I think he lives for now. And I think you can talk about the cap stuff. I know you're into the cap stuff and talk about why he's not going to get traded. But to Eagles Nation and Eagles fans, he's dead. He's dead to them. He is. People are ready to trade him now. He's got to go. And that's the narrative. Not only are you hearing around Eagle fans, you're hearing that in different circles with people who go to their outlets. You're hearing it here. You're hearing it on ESPN. You're hearing it on other podcasts. But we all know Kevin's point, they can't move on him. And I'll let you go ahead and talk about, because I know you're into the numbers and stuff. Tell the people why they can't move on A.J. Brown.
I mean, that's a $7 million dead cap, which is going to hurt. I've seen some numbers out there talking about post-June cap will go to like 72 mil, or not, pre-June, 72 mil cap space, post-June, 45 mil cap space. If we some about trade is like 16 mil and cap. Honestly, I feel like this entire relationship can be rectified. It's all going to be based off how Mr. Lurie and how we do it. If I was literally in their positions, there's only one person and one person I need to talk to. And that's the guy we pay the money to go to all these events. This is the guy who's literally became the face of the city, and that's Big Dom. I'm literally asking the questions, how can we rectify this? Because this is the man they sent to, who house did they send Big Dom to basically like cool everything off? Dom is the guy that goes to the airport picking up almost every player that is traded or, to us. He's the guy taking the Kobe Dean and Jahad Campbell to a damn NASCAR race. He understands the locker room probably a little bit better and can give you that straight answer without playing any politics to it.
You talking about Dom?
Yeah. I feel like
you know that too, because Dom was remember Dom came between them on the sideline. Dom went to AJ and kind of held AJ back. But go ahead, my bad.
No, and I just feel like he can literally provide, because trading him is not gonna it's not feasible.
They're not trading him. They're not. The
rumors like, oh, him and Myles Garrett contract match up. We can go ahead and trade them both. Nope. Cleveland's not gonna let that go.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the Myles Garrett thing is just like crazy to me. Like, I don't. He's a walk and go jacket. You're not gonna let that go.
I don't see him going to New England to get back with Mike Vrabel. No, regardless of you, as much as we want to praise Howie for being a damn money magic man, you can't make $70 million. even minimize that unless if he does, this man is about to get kidnapped by every cartel available so he can launder their money.
Oh wow.
But nah, AJ's staying here. He's staying here. And I think with the right person, we can utilize the entire skill sets we have available. Like if as Mike McDaniels for 100% is my choice, just because what I saw he was able to do. Now, if he can focus strictly on offense and don't have to worry about head coach responsibilities, if this cat was dropping 70 on damn Broncos, with a Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and A-Chain, and basically had a NASCAR team, but now what he can do with aligning, AJ in the slot, probably let Smitty. Honestly, Smitty should be running X. Put Saquon out there in the slot sometimes when you go wide. Utilize him in a different aspect. If we're going to lose Dallas Goedert, hell, let me use AJ in that type of role. Not as a blocking tight end, but let me use him as that middle secure blanket. So,
Yeah, it's tough because when AJ was here in the beginning, I think it was tough because you can see how effective he is as an ex receiver. I mean, he's a top 5 receiver. So I do, to your point, I do think they can mend the fence and get AJ back to being AJ and get Jalen back to being Jalen. I think it will be really hard, but it's a massive cap hit. So the numbers are moving him before June 1st triggers a cap charges of 40 million, which would make it history. Would make it I think it was 5th largest in history, if I'm not mistaken. So what that means is that AJ Brown would account for over $40 million. Like you were paying him 40 million. So you got to think about let me bring up the list here. I think I saw it earlier.
I mean, Howie hasn't shied away from moving away a
Yeah,
huge
not like
contract.
that though. Not like that because they have so many unrestricted free agents. We'll start from the top.
Play.
We got Reed Blankenship, Jalen
Gone.
Phillips, N'Kobe Dean,
gone,
Dallas Goedert.
gone.
It sounded after the report that Graham is like thinking about sticking around, which is interesting. But I just heard on his exit that Brandon Graham was talking as if like he felt good, his body felt good, his body didn't break down. This role that he's in right now, where he comes in and gives a couple plays and stuff like that, it seems like he ain't done playing football. Jahan Dotson, AJ Dillon, Grant Kakatera, Azeez Ojulari, Usay, Okorakwa, Granson, Fred Johnson, Mac Pryor, Brett Toff, Sam Howell, and Brandon Mann. Those are all your unrestricted free agents. So going from the top, right? Reed is a big one. You got to figure that out.
He's gone.
I think Jalen Phillips is a big one. You got to figure that out. And N'Kobe Dean. Those 3 right there, your unrestricted free agents.
Blankenship's going to Buffalo.
I'm assuming that Jordan Davis is a restricted. I'm assuming that. I thought this was Jordan Davis's last year.
They are. Did they exercise his 5th year?
They exercised his 5th year, yeah. So is his 5th year next year, or is it? I thought this was his 5th year.
He was 22 draft, correct? So this would be his 5th year.
Yeah. So I don't know why he's not on that list. Maybe that list is dated. It doesn't have him, but it should be. Yeah, a lot of people are liking the Mike McDaniels thing, but I think the problem with Mike McDaniels is I think that he wants to be a head coach. I don't think he wants to be a OC. I think he wants to be a head coach. And the only reason why he would come here is for the fact that he thinks he could be a head coach before, over Nick Sirianni. Von Miller talking the same talk in Washington. Yeah, I believe it. Because if you're going to pay these guys millions of dollars just to be kind of like specialists or just, kind of come in and just be kind of backups, You know, why not? Why not? And then not even that, they're on good team. Well, Washington might be better than they were last year, but I mean, look at the Eagles. The Eagles were, they were talking about, kind of dynasty at one point. So, but to my point, going back to that unrestricted list, um, right now, you know what? Let me see if I can bring that up so we can all see it together. Let's see.
The Kobe's gone.
Why? Because of Campbell?
You don't make that signing without the possibility, like, hey, that's the you had that conversation of, based on the numbers, this is probably what we're going to end up doing. Blankenship, I feel like he can make money elsewhere. I honestly, I would probably see him going to Buffalo. They need a safety, and they will have the money for it. Depending on how far they get, they definitely are going to get that. They may have to make that push. And then Dallas Goedert, I feel like we
I know
don't
he's gone.
hold on. Yeah, I'm about to say we don't hold on to tight ends. Who was the other cat? It was Blankenship, Nakobe, and Phillips is staying. You don't. We only traded a third though for him.
And Jalen. I thought he was a big piece. He kind of slowed down. Hold on, I'm doing too much on the John about the the system's about to overload. I don't want to lose the stream. Hold on one sec. Close that down. He kind of slowed down. He kind of slowed down at the end there, I think. With Jalen Phillips. I think he's a fit. I think he would work, but I don't know if they're going to pay him what he wants because he's still kind of young. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he's definitely. The question is what they think about Nolan Smith, and everybody knows what I think about Nolan Smith. But
he has a
the question is,
option
what do the
too.
Eagles?
I hold him all the way.
Yeah, but he'll be a
1-year
rental. They're not going to pick up his fifth year out. They're not going to pick up his fifth year. They
Why
might.
not take advantage of that? I would take advantage of that because I got
because you got to pay him. You got
to.
What's the fifth year? The fifth isn't the fifth year. Is the fifth year the top 10 average? Like his fifth year is going to be silly. Like you're going to pay him almost because I think Jordan Davis was like 15 million. You're going to pay Nolan Smith almost $20 million. Yeah, right. He's smoking on that pack. You ain't gonna pay that man that much money.
2027.
Let me see if I can get this list up of unrestricted free agents.
I mean, the cap space though is going to significantly increase though.
Yeah, it's going to jump for sure. It's definitely going to jump. But I don't know. I just don't see that. And you think Jacoby's gone? I'm surprised you think Jacoby Dean's gone.
Like I said, you don't take Jahad Campbell in the first round unless you've already had that kind of decision. You're already looking ahead, and you were like, know what? We have this talent that's coming available, and we have these possessions that we're going to have to make those tough decisions. Let's go ahead, take Jahad. And it wouldn't be that hard to part ways. You still got Zach Bond tied up, so you can go ahead, kind of, let Nakobe test the market, and then try and let Philly match it if possible, if they want to, or if not. Like think about they didn't let Milton Williams stay, but
yeah, but Milton got paid. Like Milton got paid, bro. You know what I mean? And he showed up. He definitely showed up, but Milton got paid. So Here, let me share this one because I think this will be a better screen real quick. Show it on X. We live on X too, y'all. All right. So that should work better. Of course. Boom, boom, boom. We got too much going on here, man. Here we go. All
Ooh,
right, let me
shit.
zoom in a little bit. I know that joint was funky. Is that better? Y'all can see that?
I mean, I'm gonna have to get my.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got it on the. Yeah, but now that's good though, because a lot of people on the mobile too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm on the tablet, so
Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, back. There we go. All right, so there we go. Right, Dallas got her gone. Blankenship, you know, probably test the market. Like, I mean, even Fred Johnson is a big one when you think about it, right? Because he's a swing tackle.
and
Lane
you
got
traded
hurt.
for him.
You traded him back to bring him back, right? You know what I mean? And Lane's on borrowed time. I mean, Lane tried to come back, and that foot swelled up on him. You know what I mean? So Lane wasn't even out there. So I'm sure Lane will be ready for next year full go, but I mean, I don't know. So I think everybody else is kind of gone. The punter might be back.
I
You
can
know who
see
I ain't,
Phillips now being
I ain't
gone.
put up, I ain't put up who's dead or alive that I miss. Missy Elliott. That's who I forgot. I knew there was a fifth one that we needed to blame. Goddamn Missy Elliott. Goddamn Jake Elliott. He is out of here, bro. There's no way he is back next year. I think he said they said I think he said I think I saw something like he was one of the worst kickers for the amount of kicks he did last year. Like it's just silly, man. Just silly. But so what's next, guys? What is next for the Philadelphia Eagles? You know what I mean? Because you see, I'm back in the practice facility. We not even got the real nice, background picture with the Super Bowl chance. We back in the practice. The off season has started, and the first domino has not fell yet, which most people know and feel is going to be Kevin Patullo. That hasn't fell yet. We haven't got word out yet. We all know it's more likely coming, but what do you think is going to be next for the Philadelphia Eagles?
It's definitely going to be exchanged as far as within the coordinator, but I would honestly want leadership, meaning Howie and Mr. Larry, to take a step away from the situation and actually sit down and like what they do in the past, go on the boat and decompress before they make any key decisions. And then the biggest thing is if you feel Nick Sirianni is only going to be able to, if you're 100% fine with Super Bowl knockout, Super Bowl knockout, Super Bowl knockout, and you want that to be the trend, I guess. But if you want to have consistency and have Philly being the dominating force that it has a reputation of being, when Andy was running the squad, you knew what type of product you were getting. It depended, regardless of James Thrash, Freddie Mitchell, any of them cats out there, Todd Pinkstons, they were able to put a decent product on the field to where it was competitive. Then you may have to make that decision and go ahead and mutually part ways with Nick. But if you're comfortable with having a CEO style head coach to where you're going to have this additional media that comes with the show, with, the head coach get into fights with Jalen Carter, AJ Brown, your personalities when your head coach is supposed to be more level headed, part ways. But if you're fine with it, bring in an OC. It's going to be a temp job. We're basically going to, give you a job for about 6 months, and you'll get promoted once the season is over. Go ahead, take Mike McDaniels or Brian Daboll. But we have to find a way to, if anything, play to the strength of our quarterback. And that's going to be as well taken into consideration. Is AJ going to be a hindrance or be a hindrance on that aspect of it, or is he going to be able to amplify the offense? Because we only got one ball, and if we're going to keep giving it to Saquon, then we got to give Smitty an opportunity to just be him, move him around a little bit more, and then let younger guys step up, like your Darius Coopers and Jahan gone. He about to be a comp pick. So is sitting and looking at the entire picture. Defense, I ain't worried about. Give Vic what he wants. He's just the old grandpa who's just perfectly fine in his corner and don't even care. The biggest issue is helping determine this culture that we somewhat have. There's no identity, or do we want to put somebody into that seat that is actually going to establish an identity with that set person being the play caller? So I'm curious to see how this offseason is going to happen.
Yeah, I like what you said there. Culture with no identity. I think that is a perfect example of describing who the Philadelphia Eagles are right now. They have culture with no identity. And I do think a lot of you made a lot of good points there. Kind of ran a show with me there, remember? So shout out to you for jumping on and staying on with me. And for those who are still watching, Marcus is a member of the Money Team. So if you guys want to jump on and come on here live, and sometimes we run, it's only supposed to be like 15, 20 minutes. But, we got into the conversation and we just ran the show. So sometimes it's nice to come on here and talk to you guys out there who want to jump on. Make sure you go to Money Pie YouTube, hit the join button, and become a member. Things like $3, $5, $6.
Not even that much.
Yeah, it's not. It's a drop in a bucket for you guys to get some time on here once a month. You get on here to talk some smack with us, which is cool to kind of give you guys a voice too. So, but still in all, I think you made some good points. I think a lot of people on that list, I think, will probably be spot on. I think it's interesting when you talked about continuity and you talked about building an identity. That would say that Kevin Patullo is a possibility he would stay, right? Because are you going to keep doing the same thing over again, or are you going to break the cycle and have this OC come back to give him another shot versus, okay, now we're going to start over again and figure out our identity again, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, Eagle fans might not like it, but it's just like almost like the Phillies. Do you run it back again? Right? You give these guys another shot. All right, we hopefully we worked out the kinks. We understand what everybody was telling. We have the data that everybody was telling. Now let's adjust and go back at it again. If they run this same team back with some new kind of wrinkles, obviously they probably draft a tight end high. I think Tank's around for another year, right? Because I think he was a 2-year deal when they picked him up, right? Tank
Yeah,
Bigsby.
he's still on his rookie deal.
Yeah, so he'll be back. Cooper take another step. You already kind of saw Cooper playing a little bit more even over Jahan. So you have your 3 wide receiver set. Your linemen will all be back more than likely. Hopefully you get a Lane Johnson. But, I mean, off-season.
Johnny Wilson will be back, so we got a blocking wide receiver.
And he could be your tight end, technically. Kind of.
That's what he was supposed to be.
Yeah. He could be your tight end if you want to go that route. But, I mean, they'll draft the tight end more likely in the top 3 rounds. They'll more likely draft the offensive lineman. They'll more likely draft the safety. I haven't, that cycle is going to start now in the offseason. So Make sure if you're not following, follow us, because now we get into the off season. This is kind of really the reason why we started Victory Mondays, was not just to talk about Eagles, but for the geeks and the dorks and all that, those people out there that I am not, had to learn this cycle of what happens on the off season. And you guys go in, and I'm here all for it, and we will go through it again this year. I think I've done it twice so far in the cycle. So that starts now. We start looking at the stuff now. That's why you're hearing about cap, free agents, and stuff like that. Once you're out of the show, that's it. Things kind of pick up really quickly. So for myself, I'm Moss Money. Kind of turned the hat back on, came out of the fan. That is our member, platinum member, not a veteran, active member of the military. Thank you for your service, Marcus. We will see you guys next week for our first show of the off season. We're out of here.
I'll see you in 2 weeks.